unfold your chair, and you're going to want your chair on the front end of your yoga mat facing in towards you. And you're going to want your blanket just folded over the chair, like so. So it's at the front of your yoga mat, and it's facing in towards you. It will look like this towards me. Okay? So we are going to lie down at the feet of the chair and sweep our legs up onto the chair. I'm going to come around in just a moment because this chair might be a little bit high for some of you guys, in which case I'll add a blanket under your bum. But as you lay down, I'd love for you just to move into a state of relaxation, letting your breath travel in and out through the nose. Invite a heaviness in your arms, your head, your spine. Feel the cascade of weight down the legs into the thigh bones. If you'd like any extra support under your hips or extra height for those of you who are taller under your legs. Eyes closed, hands to the belly. Restorative yoga poses are typically held for as much as 15 minutes. I won't keep you here quite that long in class, but if you're practicing this at home, feel free to set a timer for 15 minutes and just enjoy. The word yoga is union. It is a linking and it's a yoking of all the disparate parts of ourselves, the mental and the emotional and the physical. And our breath weaves through these layers of self constantly, steadily. Anyone who struggles with meditation, I recommend thinking of meditation perhaps less formally, and simply reminding yourself throughout the day, whether you're standing in line or practicing yoga or brushing your teeth, to just notice your breath. And if it becomes a habit, it will also become a habit in the moments where you're emotionally flustered, angry, reactive, and it will be a true invitation to slow down, to choose conscious actions rather than reactions. Also recommend a steady inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Not anything forced. Just noticing. Slowly release your hands to the sides. And without opening your eyes, Draw your knees in towards your chest. If your blanket falls off, that's okay. You'll wrap your arms around your knees and gently rock right and left. Let's rock over to one side and rise up to a comfortable seated position. Once you are up, and take your time, please slide your block and, your blanket and chair out of the way. And this is a great place to use your block or to sit on a chair. So I'm going to sit on my block right here. Walk your right hand over to the side. Reach your left arm up. And take a nice little bend in the right elbow. Inhale back to center. And let's walk the left hand out. And the right arm up. Just take a nice side bend. And inhale up. Bring your hands to your knees. And if you want, you can put your blanket, your second blanket under your hips.
Under what?
Under your pelvis. And it will give you a little bit more freedom in sitting.
Sorry, it's hard for me to maneuver.
It's okay.
As you well know.
It's all good.
Okay.
Point is, whatever is comfortable, whatever position is comfortable. If you want to sit in a chair, that's totally cool. So hands to your knees, and you can send your belly forward and your chest up, going into a little bit of a back bend, and then round yourself back. And start to use your breath. I recommend even closing your eyes for this little maneuver back and forth so that there's more dropping in, there's more perception of your own inherent rhythms, of where your end range is. And then come back to center in your seated position. And just bring your arms up towards the ceiling. We're going to bring the left hand down in front and the right arm in back. Give a nice little twist looking out over the right shoulder. So especially for those of you on the block, you'll want your back hand really close into your spine, close to your pelvis, so that you can stay lifted and tall. And inhale, center, arms up. We'll take it to the other side. On your inhale, feel that you're getting a little bit taller, and on your exhale, twist just a little bit deeper. Back to center. Okay, so let's grab our blanket, give it a little bit of a fold, and the blanket is going to go under your knees, or I actually have two places the blanket can go. So if you've got this nice bulky blanket and your knees still feel a little bit uncomfortable, the second secret is to just have your knees kind of hanging off the edge of the blanket, so it's your shin bones that is still on the blanket. Hands will end up under your shoulders, fingers spread wide, and if you prefer fists, fists are also a good option here. So let's do just 3 more rounds of cat and cow. So you're going to drop the belly, pull the chest forward, and exhale, rounding to the side. Inhale, drop the belly. Chest forward, and then come back to center. And so now you're going to pivot a little bit, and on the right leg, so take the foot right off the side and the back leg down, and again adjust so that your shin is on the blanket or your knee, whatever is most comfortable, and the left arm is up towards the sky. Left leg reaches back foot down to the ground. We'll come back to center, And settle your left hand down, readjust your weight onto the left leg, right leg behind you. Adjust that left leg, and then right arm to the sky. Beautiful, you guys. One more breath. And then please come on down. Curl your toes under. Press your hands into the floor. Walk your hands a little bit forward. And let's rise to a downward facing dog. So I'm going to offer the option for anybody who is wishing to limit the amount of weight on your arms. You can also hold on to the chair here and do a downward facing dog like this. You just have to put your chair back on your yoga mat, either your forearms on the chair or hands grabbing the sides of the chair. And wherever you are, whether it's a regular down dog or a hands on the chair down dog, reach your right leg up and back. Make sure the chair, by the way, is on the sticky mat. That's a super important point that I needed to make. And then lower the right foot down and lift your left leg. Doesn't matter how high. And lower the left foot down. And I'm going to get my blanket off the middle of my yoga mat. You can set your blanket to the side if it's still there. And then go ahead and begin to walk your feet towards the front of the mat. So, no chair needed for this next move. Come on up to stand. And reach your arms up. Catch hold of your left wrist and start to lean over towards your right. Inhale, rise. Catch your right wrist and lean over towards your left. And you can let your hips move a little bit, by the way. So it's not about like trying to stay stationary, but you can let your whole body kind of sway into this. Let's do that one more time on each side. Catching your left wrist and pulling over to the right. Hips move left. Inhale up. Catch the right wrist and take it over to the other side. And let's rise up. Separate your feet a little bit. Hands to your knees. So my feet are pretty much wider than a mat, so feel free to wiggle off the yoga mat here. And the first thing I like to do is just to shift a little bit side to side. Keep your weight into the heels. And you might feel a little bit of opening happening in the back of your hips. And turn your toes out. Let the knees track over your toes. Straighten up your elbows. If you can see, my shoulders are kind of close to my ears here. But that's just because my arms are straight. And I'm going to sink one shoulder in for a little bit of a twist. And then the other shoulder in. And at this point, I'm just hanging out in a little bit of a lazy squat. So both knees are bent, and then one shoulder, go back and forth. Take it back to center, please. Heel toe your feet so that they're just a little bit wider than hip distance, definitely on your mat now. And keep a bend in your knees. Hips back, chest forward, and start to fold forward. So there's a deep bend in the knees. You can fold forward. This is a great place to have your block, either under your hands if that feels more supportive for you, or periodically, sometimes, it'll be easy to rest your head on the block. So you notice that I'm doing that with my knees very deeply bent. Either way, have your knees bent. This will give you a bit of extra length in your spine. If you have the block under your head, set it off to the side so that you can now shake your head a little bit left and right and nod it up and down. And then please bring your hands back to your knees and go ahead and slowly stack and rise. or up on the front of the yoga mat, so on the front of the studio mat. Please step your left foot to the top of the chair, seat of the chair, and take your right hand, and if you have your blanket there, set the blanket off. You can also do it like this. You can have your hand very easily. Another option, you guys, is to have your chair turned kind of sideways, so you can hold on and set the foot up. So once you're in this position, you may keep your hand on the back of the chair, or right hand to the left knee. Draw your left shoulder back and start to spin, looking past that left shoulder. Ribs in, tall, straight, active right leg. Please reach your left arm back behind you. And then slowly come back to center. And you're going to lift your ribs and your belly and fold over this leg. So this is truly hanging out, draping of your body over the leg. Let your head get heavy. No work to be done. Get 3 more breaths here. If you want, you can come to the inside of your leg. So standing lizard pose. Slowly climb yourself right back up. The leg, come back to center, and let's switch sides. Set your left foot down. I'm just going to turn my chair around so that the back of the chair is over on my left side, and I'm going to bring the right foot up. Once you have your right foot up on the chair, left hand to the right knee, get nice and tall. Right hand to the hip and start to spin, looking over your right shoulder. You can reach your right arm back behind you if you'd like. And just stay steady in your breath here. So you're getting a beautiful twist. Hand down and slowly take it back to center. Lift your chest, lift your ribs. Exhale and drape your belly over this front leg. You're welcome to hold on to the chair. You're welcome to, of course, hold on to the leg. You're welcome to let the knee go out to the side a little bit. Try what feels good and restful to you. More breaths right here. So in and out through the nose. And slowly walk your hands right back up the leg. Rise up and settle your foot down. Let's turn the chair back so that the seat is facing towards the front of the yoga mat. And we'll just walk our feet back into a nice L shape. Our hands in the back of the chair. Take the hips back and start to sway a little right and left. You can bend your knees or bend one knee and then the other. There's a million ways that you can play with this shape. Looking forward, please. Step your right foot all the way up between the back legs of the chair. Activate your back legs, so back heel is off the floor, knees super straight. Draw your ribs in, draw your belly back, and then if you feel comfortable, bring your hands to your hips, lift your chest, lean up towards the ceiling. So a tiny little bit of a back bend, but make sure your back leg is really strong, glutes are strong. Palms press over the heart if you feel steady here. Squeezing the legs to an imaginary midline. Ears back. Slowly fold forward, hands to the chair. Take it back, find your L shape again. This is a variation of downward facing dog, and what this particular shape can teach us is our tendencies. Whatever our tendencies are in down dog will show up here. So if you feel tightness along the back of the shoulders, then this is a good one for you to prepare for down dog. If you are kind of like me and your ribs tend to sag forward, and you know you've got a lot more core work to do and integration to do. And if you round, also, it can be a place where you learn to bend your knees and lengthen your spine. So feel free to bend your knees here. Let's spend 1 or 2 more breaths just shifting the hips side to side. And we'll send the left foot up between the hands. Back heel stays off the floor. Powerful, strong back leg. Bend in. You can keep your hands here on the chair. And your palms or hands to the hips. Ribs back. Option, palms to the heart. There's a gentle chin back, chest lift, looking up. Again, you can raise with your hands on the chair. Squeeze the legs to an imaginary midline. So that back leg super strong. And then hands to the chair, foot steps back. Bring your big toes to touch, please. Little bend in the knees. Float your right leg up, warrior 3 style. And then bend your right knee in like you're trying to kiss and touch your nose. It won't be the biggest action, that's okay. And then reach it back. And exhale, curl it in like you're trying to kiss your knee, touch the knee to the nose. Inhale back. And then this third time, we're going to step all the way up between the hands. Between the legs of the chair. Old habits die hard. Squeeze your legs towards one another. Find your lunge, and you can keep your left hand on the chair now or left hand on the right knee. And then same thing we did earlier when we had our foot on the seat of the chair. We're just going to turn, look over the right shoulder. Optional, float your right arm up and back. Ribs back, back leg strong. 2 more breaths. Legs are working quite hard here. Slowly release and step it back. L shape. Hips back, knees bent. Shimmy as much as you want, side to side. And bring your big toes to touch again. Make sure your feet are right under your hips and not back behind. They're right under. Left leg floats up. We have a warrior 3 action. Draw your knee into your nose. And inhale, take the leg back. Exhale, round your spine. Draw your knee to your nose. Kiss the knee. And leg back. And the third time. Super slow motion. Draw your knee in, step it up between the legs of the chair. Squeeze your legs to an imaginary midline. Lift your chest. Right hand can stay where it is. Left hand to your hip. Draw the shoulder back. And option to float the arm up, back behind you. Option to float the right arm up in front of you. onto the chair. And left hand onto the chair. Step it back. Take a little bend in your knees. And just let your right arm drop down towards the floor. Take your feet a little bit wider from one another. So left hand is still on the chair. Right arm drops towards the floor, and you're going to actually kind of sag, let your head hang, and turn a little bit so you can look under this left arm. Rise up using the strength of your legs. And just reach back a little bit. You might even pull your toes up and sink your weight into your heels. And then both feet fully on the floor again. Let your left hand drop down. Look under the right arm. This gorgeous reach from tailbone through the crown of your head. Knees are bent. And a little bend in the knees. Slowly rise. All right. So let's turn the chair completely around for a moment. So the seat of the chair faces towards the top. Grab your blanket again and place it over the chair. And you just want to be careful with this next action. Again, make sure the chair is on your yoga mat. Make sure that the hands are holding on to something that won't move. The blanket will move on the seat of the chair. So I'm kind of holding on to the chair underneath. And from that kind of downward dog shape, we're going to draw the right knee in and either set it like so, kind of a half pigeon shape, in which you are fully holding on. Or, if that doesn't work for your knee, then I'm going to come around and I'll help you get into this next position. You can get the same benefits by just going into a lunge here with the right leg fully through. So, option 1, option 2, all options are equal. This was the second option that I showed you. All right. Let's get a little bit of an active twist, just going side to side, wherever you are. And then dive down, straighten your leg. And this next one does involve a little bit of mobility. So whether you are here in the pigeon shape or in the lunge shape, you can bring your your heel to the blanket and hold on to the blanket. It doesn't matter to me how deeply bent your knee is to get here. But activate your foot, curl your toes back towards your eyes, and take a couple of breaths. Great. And we'll switch sides. Again, hold on to something that won't move. Set your foot back down. And option 1, left knee comes up onto the blanket, right foot wiggles back, coming into the pigeon shape. Option 2, right foot has to start quite close so that you can get your left foot through, and then it can move back to the lunge. So wherever you are, hands to the back of the chair. Start to turn a little right and a little bit left. Some nice upper back rotation. Find the center. Hold on to something that won't move. Rise up and properly place your heel on the blanket itself. So truly doesn't matter if you have bent your knee is. If you have a really bent knee here, you're probably feeling equal or more stretch than anybody else. So just take a nice breath and fold. Curl your toes back towards your eyes. And let the hips shift a little right and left. I don't teach a whole lot of pure stretches. This is pretty close to a pure stretch, although we're quite active in the right leg and we're keeping the left leg quite active. But this is a really important range of motion that we would need to get our belly closer to our thighs, to be able to climb up steep stairs, etc. So that is why it is important. Bend in and take your foot down to the floor. Keep the blanket where it is, if you don't mind, for a moment. And just step your left leg back, float the chest up, and fold down. It might be possible to get your forearms to the seat of the chair for a pyramid shape. Straightening your front knee as much as possible. And then holding on to something that won't move, switch the leg that is in front. And this is a great option for showing me that. You can always put your block on top of the blanket. Just make sure that the weight you're putting through the arms is not going to slide the block around so that you feel more steady here. Straightening your front leg. Pressing down to the base of the big toe in the front. Go ahead and step your back foot in. Set your block off to the side. Bring your hand down to the ground. And we're going to, again, wiggle the hips nice and close to the chair and the blanket. So make sure you have whatever extra blankets you need close by. So you're going to bring your calves again up onto the chair, wiggle your hips as close as you need to be, and start to settle down onto your back. We are so lucky we have a few minutes to simply connect to breath. A little bit of slack in the jaw. Smoothness across the forehead, between the eyebrows. Appreciate a sense of settling down. Invite the breath in and out through your nose for the final few quiet moments of our practice. And to wiggle your fingers, to wiggle your toes. And move in whatever way you like as you slide your knees towards your chest. Feel free to let the blanket fall off the chair. Give yourself a little bit of hug, rocking side to side. And rock to one side. Pressing through your hands, keep your eyes closed slowly. Rise up to a comfortable seat. You can crack open your eyes long enough to grab your blanket or your block and place it right under your hips. Let's press our palms together over the heart. So much thanks and gratitude for our capacity to move and breathe and be in community together. And to enjoy this practice of self-care, self-inquiry, and union.